Good morning, everybody. Sorry about the delay. And by sorry, I mean I don't care. Had to post some charts in there for you. Put the levels in. If I post a chart, I just posted the highest volume tickers in the market. So if you see a ticker that you like, it doesn't mean I like it. It just means here's some levels for you. Here's some lines on it. Okay. I have a bunch more, but I don't get time. I don't get time. Could have done it earlier, but you know, procrastinating drawing levels on charts I don't really care about. So, um, and if you guys don't ask me specifically, then I'm going to sort it by the most volume and put levels on those charts, of course. Anyway, let's get into it. Futures up. Holy moly. Holy moly. Who would have thought this one again? I mean, I would hope so after yesterday, right? Taking a look. Asia got pummeled again. If we go take a look over here, Asia got pummeled again. I'm not really sure what the best way to take it, but we're gonna take it as price, right? We're gonna think of it just as price. Now, Nasdaq futures are up, so this has nothing to do with us, right? But when you think about what exactly is going on with price, we like to, of course, think about the other markets. Take it from, okay, if our futures are going to be doing well into the day, can be based a little bit off of the other markets, right? Well, if Asia's up, then our tech shares will be up. If Europe's up, then our value will be up, right? Well, here we are. Hang Seng continues to get beat to shit. Again, this is really, I guess, I mean, when you look at it, it's quite literally all China oriented. It has nothing to do with us. And at the end of the day, this is just money outflowing here, and with our futures up, inflowing to us. So that's what we're going to look at as. I'm going to stop with the I expect this to be up shenanigans, because price is not telling us that, right? Price is not telling us that. Price over here was tightening, looking very good for upside. Now it certainly is not. So that's how we're going to look at it. We're no longer going to be going, oh yeah, Asia will be up, so our futures will be up. No, our futures are up because that's literally the only thing to buy, and that's it, right? So very interesting to see those. Europe's pretty mixed right now. They were doing okay. Now they're a little down. Crude's back up. Crude's back up a bit. We'll see how that continues today. I mean, it's obviously been taking a bit of profit over the last few days, and I mean really the last week, but it's really the last few days that have been impactful. We'll see how that continues. Again, I mean, it's important for some of the ideas that we have. Now, I talked a little bit about taking another preemptive trade on XLE over here, since it is tied to crude. I took it this time, and then crude made the move this way, pivoted, and XLE did not. Again, short-term charted trades, trying to just get a trade because, I mean, why not? Why not? So taking the same idea here, it's going to be up 1.5%. I mean, is this the start to the new move? It doesn't really matter if it is or not. It's up for now, and so if it turns into something, then great. If not, then oh well. Doesn't make a difference. We got a little bit of points here. It's again, you're never going to time it. Nothing's easy, right? There is no easy... There's no easy money, right? Even if the chart is kind of silly, there's no easy money, right? We're not average. If you're average, you won't make money, right? So we're gonna see. Now, I know this chart looks different because I don't have the trend lines on it. This is just the other layout because I'm maxed out on drawings on the other one. But these are the new horizontal levels on the SPY. I'll jump over to the Qs as well. So again, what we're looking for is for this sort of week and going into next week is confirmation of this idea that we're risk on the entire market. Not just, we understood why there was a rotation into value for inflation reasons, the economy coming back, right? And then what we want to see though is with that trade heading to the upside, we want to see growth come through, right? We understand that, okay, yields are up. It's going to be a higher cost of capital. We're discounting some of growth's future. But that's just a baseline, right? We can grow past that. Price doesn't just stop for something. So We are looking for this to continue. If it doesn't, and we get hit on resistance again or something like that, then we're gonna obviously trust price and then go from there. But again, the bets so far are betting on all this. So yesterday we continued to hold our trades. We continued to buy at lows. That's what we're going to do. Obviously, a little different from the last couple of weeks. That doesn't mean that we're not still in the value trade. Of course, we're still pushing a lot of value ideas. This is just something that's got added in the last week or so, and it's important to, of course, keep getting confirmation, and we'll see if that's going to be a case or not. Someone should definitely tell Brian that since T is in there, that has nothing to do with it being bullish or bearish. It's actually fucking bearish out of his mind, and I'll never touch that ticker in my life. I'm going to actually delete that ticker. I'm going to delete it from the chat. I'll do that in a minute. Anyway, yep. So that's where we're at. Bring it over to the Russell. Okay, so this is the big sort of, I would say, not like a story, but this was the biggest surprise from yesterday was how much small caps took off. Now, we understand that there's a lot more volatility on the small caps because, again, the price moves a lot quicker because the size of the cap, it just, for every percent move on an average, it's going to move more, right? Just due to the nature of it being a smaller company, right? It's a smaller amount of money to move price. So generally, we already get wide spreads. This is kind of a weird spot for it, though. And I think it's important to realize the amount of take profit happening on the regional bank side, which again, some of those banks were up like 30-40%. Some kind of out there numbers. Some of them, I mean, the average I think was probably like, I don't know. We had this move here, and then they continued to climb through here. So the average might have been like 15-20% or something like that. And so the take profit is quite a bit. And it affects the average in the same way that if you throw a zero into a data set, it's going to throw off the average if you don't have that many tickers. When a majority of those are all doing some big negative number, it's going to affect the average. And we don't trade the average, but just even looking at this on the average, IWM, it's quite the amount of selling. I'm not saying that I'm thinking that I might go trade, like I'll go specifically trade IWM on the average or something because it's got oversold. Again, we're going to trade individual tickers unless there's opportunities on those ETFs, but it definitely is a bit of overselling on the average side because again, it's taking into consideration things that have actually pushed past this entirely, right? So we'll see how it looks over here. I do expect this to climb back up. The one thing to think about though is the idea of if we're understanding that equities are risk on and that's kind of the only option right now, and we're expecting all-time highs and continue trending up. This goes back to the same thing that happened a few weeks ago where the Dow and then eventually the S&P all traded all-time highs and the Nasdaq is just fucking a year behind, right? It's all the way down here. The rest of the markets are way up here trading all-time high. If small caps now do that, now we're in this kind of weird situation where that was literally the only thing that was leading us for like a month, right? Small caps were going through all-time highs for like a month before the rest of the market. So now it obviously ebbed and flows and break out, consolidate. We'll need to see though, because it's important to have that continue to do well as it is tied to the economy. And so if we're betting on the economy, then why is that down so much? Again, it doesn't need to be fundamental in nature like that, where it's, well, these tickers are tied to the economy and the economy is doing well, so 1 and 1 makes 2. We don't trade like that, but we do understand these macro ideas that should be that should be some sort of premise in terms of the flow that comes in. Again, flows over fundamentals, but it still is the flow is going to be dictated by these important ideas, right? So we'll see. I'm going to be looking for that to strengthen and put some points on. That, again, is tied into banks a lot. So when you look at the banks, you think about where it is here. Again, it's taking profit on this big move here. It's just the way in which it's doing it, which is why it keeps getting sold. It's this straight line sort of selling that this is not everything getting sold at once. It's over multiple days things are getting sold, which is not how things get sold, right? And so it's sort of every day there's now, oh, new decision, new decision, new decision. No one's betting against this, right? No one's betting against it. And so that's where if you look at this and then the difference of the Russell 2000, you can see the difference. That sold some sort of long position there. And then this is not, when you look at the actual banks that are affecting it, this is not like a decision to go exit long positions. There's some take profit involved, but this is 4 different days of taking profit. I mean, not technically this one. So 3 days in a row of take profit that are all different decisions. If you're going to sell something, you just sell it all, right? If you have the ability of the liquidity to sell it, you're just going to sell the whole thing. So again, there's no one betting against banks. So keep remembering these ideas, and that's exactly why we took the Apple trade, right? No one's going to bet against Apple here. No one. I mean, they're gonna. It's like, what do you like better, Apple? Do you like Apple's innovation or IBM's do nothing for the next 100 fucking years and exist, right? Those companies that are not going to innovate and they just exist and they're big. I'm gonna bet on the one that's gonna grow, right? That doesn't go away, right? That doesn't go away, and so not gonna bet against this into the future, and no one is. The market, no one in the market bets against the market. It's a timing error where you bet on things during that moment. No one ever, if you ask someone in a long-term sense, over anything over a year, no one's going to say anything's going to go down. They're not. That's just not how it works, right? And so you're just being a contrarian all the time if you're ever not willing to buy something in a long-term sense. We operate in a shorter-term sense, so of course we're trying to buy at specific buy levels and sell at sell levels. These are different ideas because that's where we operate, right? But if we were an institution and we had significant amount of capital, then of course that's you're just never betting against. And I think that maybe some retail gets their ideas from media, and these ideas from like these few people that have put big shorts on, not just specifically the big short, but some of these well-known investors that shorted the market or something and made a bunch of money on it. Those people gambled. They actually gambled. Okay, they gambled and got paid for it because you're taking risks for a reward. They gambled. Nobody does that, right? Some people will get paid for it. What you don't know is the thousands and thousands of other wealth managers that try to do that don't exist anymore, become irrelevant. You never hear about those that become irrelevant. Those are the ones that that's exactly why, right? You hear about the ones that did something, and so again, no easy money. No easy money. You can't short things, and that's the motto for today. Yesterday we had COVID winners do well after a big day yesterday. Of course, we're not really expecting too much out of these. All we're expecting is for holding value. So I'd like to just see some of these hold value. Here, let me switch back to the old. Yeah, switch back to the old one so we have our levels on the charts. Well, I'll have to see if there's a quicker way to switch between these. Or I can just copy over some things. We'll see. Come. Okay, all right. What the hell happened? I didn't see the error message. Oh well. Anyway, so yeah, for COVID winners today, we're looking for holding value. So anything that did well yesterday during some of the whatever you guys consider tumultuous times, we're looking for value to be held. ZI will be interesting because we pushed this position from the big gain Monday. We'll see how that turns out today because again, we're looking for when do we take profit. We don't get to just sell at the top because we don't know the top until it happens. So again, nothing's easy. So you don't just sell and say, oh, well, I timed it perfectly. What are you timing it on, right? So we'll see if today we get some take profit. It'll depend again on positions and everything else. Everyone has a different position. So we'll see how that goes. TME is going to be interesting. I expect a lot of volatility again from the open. So since we're at the resistance, this might be my spot where if we get that sort of opening again, this is going to react to the Asian market, and those were down 2%. So you likely are going to see, we don't get to know where this is right now, but it's going to react to again, this trades on multiple indices on the Asian exchanges. So when that happens, you get this really crazy sort of start off because, again, it's reacting to the price over there. We'll see what that does. I'm not going to like pull it in the first minute or something. Like, it's going to be after that, but it's important to realize that when you're in these tickers that trade on another exchange, you have to be sensitive to that that open start that, again, it's sort of benchmarking to the other price. And just like yesterday, it would have been very easy to get shaken out of this position because of the way that this starts off, right? That's quite literally just moving to benchmark against the other price. And then all of a sudden, oh yeah, we're actually bid on this over here, right? This is America. We're actually bid on just about everything. So keep that in mind for today, because that's going to be a wonky one. Either way. Okay, let me bring it over to the macro side. Dollar keeps climbing. We actually broke the high over here. Now, again, it's important to realize that I've talked about this. We're understanding this as a risk on dollar. It's not the same as back during COVID, that if the dollar was going up, that was bad. This is every time the dollar went up, the market went down, right? Things change. It depends. Okay. And I've been saying it since over here, once we get this move here, that this is risk on dollar. The dollar can increase and the market can increase at the same time. It's a thing. It can actually happen. Tell me why gold has continued to go down while the dollar has gone down. Those don't add up, because it's not always correlated, right? Correlation's like a thing that doesn't really ever exist, right? Not in the market, at least. It's very hard to find correlation, and I think people throw the word around too much. Unless something's actually correlated, then you shouldn't be using the word correlated or thinking something's correlated, right? That's another shortcut, or thinking that things are easy, right? It's always like in hindsight, things like you regret things because those were correlated. I should have known that. I saw this go up and this down. At times these things do happen, and it was very impactful when we used this last year, using the dollar, because we understood that the entire market, the only reason the market was moving was because of Fed liquidity. So every time the dollar would start to come down, that's an injection of cash, right? And so we would understand that that's an inflow, right? That's an inflow to the market of new cash. And so that's why we used it. Those things were correlated in the sense that there's an outflow from something and then an inflow somewhere else. You're not always going to get that. And again, right now, what's happening over here, this is all inflationary ideas, and it's coming from yields increasing. And we have so many things happening on the borrowing side, that we're borrowing from the future and appreciating in the now. So we're borrowing dollars from the future and using and spending them. That's the important part. We're spending the money. So if you're spending the money, then that's an entirely different thing than just having the money. So what happens if you just, again, you print a bunch of money, but you don't use it? Well, the money's just there, right? And so that's going to cause the value of the dollar to go down. What if you start to spend it? Well, all of a sudden, you're using up that supply, right? So supply demand, if you're taking away from supply, what should that mean? That should mean demand is increasing comparatively to supply, and that should make the price increase, which is what the dollar's doing. It's important to realize that this is spending. It's almost the opposite to what we understood over here, right? But it's the same idea, right? It's the same idea. This is more supply of money. Money supply is increasing. And again, we're at the most, we have never had, we're parabolic on the increase of money supply in the entire world. We are just nonstop fucking injecting money supply. It's insane. So if you haven't looked at the money supply chart, go look at that. It's fucking parabolic over the last year. It almost looks like we doubled the money supply in the world or something. It's insane. But anyway, money supply increasing. Money supply is still increasing, but now we're spending it. we're spending it more and more. It's important to realize the difference between those two things and why the dollar would increase. And then, of course, this is all in relation to the rest of the currencies in the world. 70% of all the money in the world is the U.S. dollar. Right? That's just. I mean, okay, I shouldn't use that set. 70% of all countries in the world use the U.S. dollar. Okay, so basically 70% of all money is the dollar. So, in the end of the day, everything that happens here affects everywhere, right? I even it's like the conspiracy that China owns a bunch of dollars and they could fuck our currency. Why do you think they own the dollar? Because that's what they fucking use. do we even talk about Chinese currency? When the fuck has anyone ever talked about Chinese currency? We don't, because they use the fucking dollar. I mean, yeah, they. You go to China, you don't get to buy things with the dollar. But that's not the point. That's not the point. So anyway, the dollar, try to understand it and realize it's not the end of the world. And if you go look back, you'll see that as the dollar appreciates, the market will increase with that, and it's usually because of spending, right? Spot VIX, again, doesn't really fucking matter right now. When is it going to come back to some sort of... Here's a good example of correlation. It's only correlated to the downside. Only when the market's going down does the VIX go up. Otherwise, none of these days matter. Nothing else matters on the chart. The only thing we understand is that volatility is not being priced correctly in the sense... Excuse me. It's not being priced in the sense that markets could move up or down. It's only that they could be down. And that's where, again, I've been talking a little bit more about when we're taking bets. We're specifically talking about making convexity bets. So we're betting on gamma. You're betting on the market to move one way or the other with more speed. That's it. With more volatility. That's it. That's really what your bets are. So last week we made bets that the market's just going to move faster. That's it. So again, when the gamma is at its highest point, that's because your contracts are at the money, right? And so if, for instance, if you're looking at, let me just make a really quick example. So right now, Apple's at 122.5. So if you're buying 122s, right, then, or like 125, when anything around the price right now that are at the money, then your gamma is at the highest point and your delta is at 0.5, right? If your gamma is at the highest point, then that means price could move. That's because price is right at the strike price, so it could move up or it could move down, right? So that's all you're betting on, is that it's going to move one way or the other, right? Really simple concept, but there's times when that's not fucking true, when you don't trade like that. So again, it's important to understand what exactly it is we're doing. But anyway, everything's on the menu. We bought everything yesterday. If you didn't buy everything yesterday, then today you probably are going to be buying things. Again, I mean, it comes down to those moments, and talked about it yesterday. It comes down to those moments where if you're able to actually do what we talk about, which is buying on fear and buying on those lows, then you're going to get paid for it, right? It doesn't always work out, but you're still going to beat everyone else. And you're never going to make money if you trade on the average, right? All right, let's see what we get. So again, we're trading everything. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna talk about like everything is the whole equity market's risk on. So we found some new growth tickers to trade. I like the semiconductors, right? We're going to that. We have an Apple position, a Facebook position. We're in the Dow, so we're already in Microsoft and Apple in that way. We're already in INTC that way from the Dow trade. Remember, guys, when I talk about the Dow trade, I'm not trading the average. I'm not trading the fucking index, and I'm not trading just the ETF. I have UDAO contracts, but I'm specifically trading the individual companies, right? So, for instance, INTC, I've been in INTC for a while. These are things to think about, okay? Some of you had a fucking revelation. Like, the Dow has companies in it. The Dow is supposed to be like the way it's benchmarked. If you have never looked at the benchmark, it's benchmarked not like any of the others. It's not by market cap. It's just fucking to to best translate like the entire market in a number, right? The benchmark is fucking weird. So that's not, yes, I'm talking about on the average at 34,000, but the individual companies are obviously a little different, right? We'll see if aerospace and defense, we finally come back. We'll see how energy continues, banks. Obviously, putting those energy bets on yesterday, a little spooky, but worth it. Let's obviously, you guys obviously want to talk about this trade. We opened much lower on GME. What do you guys think? Should we take profit on the puts or what? Good job, guys. Now, by the way, I think some of you, maybe I shouldn't do this right this moment. Some of you waited to the last moment to put that on. That's not, when you make a weekend trade, do we wait the whole fucking day to make a trade, or do we make a trade at open so we have the whole day ahead of us? You're supposed to make the trade at open, and especially for if you're doing specifically like earnings plays like this, you should be trading from the open. It's not good to wait until the last second, because price is going to price in what's going to happen with earnings before fucking earnings happen, right? It's not going to just all of a sudden everyone's waiting. No one gives a shit about the earnings. Everybody knew the earnings don't fucking matter. You have to make that trade earlier. So yeah, you might be up in profit, but you need to realize that you could have realized that entire body of that candle there. So that's one thing I would say to be critical. Again, I'm not being critical of anyone specific. I'm just talking about in general. That's a good way to look at it. And sometimes it's not going to work out, and you'll have to wait until the end of the day. But just that was a good example of yesterday, that you take that, you're taking the same trade you plan on taking, but you take it from the open, and you actually gain all of that. And what that helps for is it's a barrier, just like I talk about with weekend trades, that entire gain that you gain through that day will cover the risk of pushing it overnight through the earnings or over the weekend for that weekend trade, right? And that's an important concept to utilize, because again, we're not trading for just like a minutes of time, right? We're trading over more than that. We're trying to capture more, and the only way to capture more is through time. That's it, right? Time value. Time value. Let's see. We're doing well on the energy trade so far. We'll see how that continues. Yeah. Oh, what is this new thing here? Okay, looking very good so far. Energy's looking very good. We're looking very good on aerospace and defense. TGI really shooting back here. Shooting back, which is, again, good. We got to take profits that oversold. These were all oversold. We talked about, my opinion. They got oversold. I fucking buy them. What am I going to do? Am I going to just watch it? Just going to have to take it. Just have to take it. We'll see how Travel does. Travel also got the same sort of this droopy snoot into this selling yesterday. Again, in my opinion, overdone. Buy it. What are you gonna do? You're gonna watch it? we buy. We buy in those situations. Bang, this thing was weird. Remember, we bought at the support here, traded up, and then had to get stopped out the next day. That trade was very interesting. We'll see how this goes from here. This might be a little bit better, actually. Might be a little bit better. Makes a little bit more sense. Again, that we're in it for the long term here. So this move here, but trying to time the short term, that looks good there. In aerospace and defense coming up here, important to be a part of that. Growth having its moment there, waiting. Dow value looks way better. Again, this is all has to do with the fact that energy's coming back here. Very nice preemptive trade here on this candle. Candle looked, I mean, again, I talked about it. We tried to get it on here, didn't happen, get stopped out. We got it here, so we didn't do it this trade. We did it here. This is good. Also, all the banks just came out and said yesterday that they're long the super cycle, and that they're going to be buying energy and everything else, and that they're already in position. So we'll see how that interacts, because that could get interesting. Because we've already put a lot of points on, but we haven't really got momentum on the energy side because it doesn't trade like that. Dow looking fucking awesome. Let's go. We have until April 1st. We got a week. Give us the points. I mean, again, I don't need to say it, but again, we reached up here, and there was profit there. So I didn't hold contracts through the last week in a lot of situations. Common sense. Oh, coming back. See what this type of shit does. Oh god, it's hard to make of this move again. And if that's the I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. I mean, technically you should be consolidating this move. You should technically be consolidating this move, but this is overselling. And I'm buying a lot of overselling. I didn't buy Macy's here, retail stores, but maybe I should have. Maybe I should. We're gonna whip. See, what I would say is that price is gonna do this. Price is gonna trade flat, consolidate, and then maybe we'll get another move. This here, this should not happen. This should not happen. But this is the market right now, and need to respect that. This sort of overselling into then buying it, but it's overbuying as well, right? It's just momentum buying. So we'll see how that goes. Again, I'm not gonna make decisions that I haven't really thought about, so I'm not gonna like take that trade right now. Uh, the other charts, the other retail stores that are in better spots and on levels, I'm definitely looking at that. McKees says, sorry for being the late asshole, Don. What did you say about IWM? I have no fucking idea. Just talked about that small caps were down a lot yesterday, and I thought that was overselling. And it's just the average. Just the average from regional banks taking profit. Since Russell 2000's mostly regional banks. That might have been the gist of it. There might have been something else there. Oh my god. Guys, listen. The charts I just posted are just for levels. Those are the highest volume tickers in the market. They have nothing to do with me being bullish or bearish on a chart. So, Brian, as well, since you're in here now, T is not because I like T. T is fucking dog shit wrapped in other shit, right? I'm just posting the highest volume charts so you guys have the levels. Okay. Any chart in there, PLTR's in there. Do you think I'm going long PLTR? No. I'm just posting the levels for you guys. Those are the highest volume. I have many more. I'll post them later. Okay. I'm just posting the highest volume tickers and giving you the levels for you guys. I don't need it. I just was a little lazy and didn't do them all last night, so did a few more this morning. And it takes me, I have to screenshot them, so it takes me a little bit. And I was going to type them into the Google Sheet for you, so you just have the numbers and you don't have to load the picture. But I'm way too fucking lazy to do that, let's be honest. Way too lazy to go type hundreds of tickers levels into a Google Sheet. And you guys won't even fucking use it anyway. You guys will just wait for me to bring it up on the screen. Hey, Don, what's the level here? So, not doing that. And I will get baited by all trolling today. So, feel free, debate it. Debate away. There is no fucking easy money. Well, you're just being critical. Remember, guys, if I'm not like truly being critical. I'll never be critical of anyone in here. I'm just being in general talking of if I'm critiquing something, it's through my lens, not through you, right? I'm never making fun of anyone individually. If I'm reading Profit or something, I'm never saying, "Oh, that's cuz you fucked it up and you should have done that. That was easy." Never doing that. I'll never be critical of anybody here. You guys are fucking learning. Even if I do say something, realize the context. Only fucking idiots that have no idea what they're doing will be critical of other people and use that to prop themselves up. I don't need to make fun of you guys to prop myself up. I think I'm doing all right. I like the open here. I do like the open. I do like the open. And obviously I like the open because we're up and we just bet on the entire fucking equity market. But it's the way that we're up. Some of these numbers are. We can't talk about this trade, by the way. Obviously, we took this position last week, right over here, for whatever fucking reason. I have no idea, but uh, yeah, we can't talk about that one. That one is on stream. I don't know what we're looking for in travel today. Again, we're looking for all equities to climb, but not sure what we're specifically looking for in travel. I guess uh, the where we open makes it a little. This is again where I've been talking about this more and more, or I mean, it's just the reality. The market puts most of its points on in after hours, right? When the market's not open, most of the points get put on. So when it opens, all the value is there. The price doesn't really move much intraday. Now we've seen sort of some changes in this that we've seen a lot of volatility intraday, and so it causes a lot of price movement, but it still doesn't. It doesn't finish creating uh, more of a gain or loss during the intraday. It doesn't. It might fucking like it'll do this, right? It'll swing back and forth, but it'll come back to where it was. Most of again, all of the gains are found when the market's not open. So you have to push a trade overnight. You have to, otherwise you're not gaining anything. Here's a good example. You try to trade CCL from open here, you're probably gonna make nothing today. You'll probably make zero. But if you traded it from yesterday, oh well, now you're up a significant amount, right? You have to. This is what I've been talking about a lot, and it's important in this market because here's the problem: is that you're trying to time the market, and some of you are you're still sitting there like, well, now I don't know because we opened up higher. It's hard to take those trades, and you make mistakes. You have to try to remove mistakes as much as possible, and so a lot of the times that's where. I mean, again, we're not trading the value. We're not like all buying and selling based on the value of a fucking company. We're doing it by trying to beat each other. That's literally all we're doing. We're trying to beat the rest of the market and predict what they're going to do before they do it. So we try to use levels and everything to decide these things, but again, it has nothing to do with oh yeah, what's the I hope SPY's earnings are going to be good. Hope they have good earnings and hope there's a good value company SPY is. Yeah. Joke. Okay. So energy is going. That's very good. Healthcare is going. Uh, Banks, we'll see how much those get going. Definitely want that to keep climbing. Anything else stands out? XME is going to come. Still going. Good. X, who would have thought? And anything, I think it's still important to the infrastructure side. I know I've been talking about the value and this whole thing for so long, but that infrastructure side, you have to realize that again, this is just fucking bad. And I talked about it yesterday. These are bad candles, bad trading. What has changed? What the fuck changed yesterday for some of these charts? Honestly, what changed with X here? It's a gift for no reason. It's someone else's quite. I mean, now, okay. Before I say this again, there's no easy trading. There's no easy trading. You can't look back and say, oh, this is an easy trade. That's not what I'm saying. It's not easy. And again, if you're average, you're losing money. But the point is based off of our prior trading and the way we've been trading, right? And confirmation we have been getting due to that and due to the nature in which we believe the market is in right now. We could be wrong and we could just be getting lucky. Sure. But we're going to keep doing it until it doesn't work anymore, right? So who knows how long that'll be. But what changed? What actually changed? The market was completely fine yesterday. Market was fine, but we had some of these areas that lost a lot, right? And some of you felt the effects of that. If you were still in a position and if you tried to time it, and you don't really know. This is just bad, though, is it not? What are we doing here? What are we pushing price up so much for just to then sell it back? Same thing over here, just to sell it back. Now, price needs to consolidate. Absolutely. You get a breakout, price needs to consolidate. But wasn't this some consolidation? What is this? Right? Everything points to the upside, and everything on a spending level on the infrastructure side pushes to upside. So even fundamentally, you know this is not a fundamental trade here. So you can actually remove anyone that's in a fundamental trade from the equation. So who's here? Well, it's just basically anyone that chased over here, took profit. That's it. So then you go, okay, this is probably below average trading. Now, how do they make up that much? I don't fucking know. Some things don't make sense, for sure. Some things don't make sense. That how is it that this group of people that are below average continue to move price so much? I don't know. I honestly don't know. There are just institutions that suck, sure. Not every institution is making money. None of them, some institutions, again, don't make decisions based on the gain or loss of every day, sort of like we do, or like every few days we try to swing trade. Pensions and everything else, they're making decisions over years of time, so they don't really care about every single candle or anything like that, right? They don't think like this. They just think where price is going to be in the future, right? Like yearly plans. We don't do yearly planning, right? So some of that can affect on a day-to-day basis, just like we don't news trade, but and news doesn't set the price, but it can affect price in a very short amount of time. Yeah, price might just return immediately after that gets out of the way, and we can take advantage of that. But it's not to say that it doesn't affect things, right? Things will happen, right? It's just usually not in that sense that this is now going to have like some overarching effect. It comes and then goes. It's gone, right? As soon as the thing happens, it's gone. It doesn't matter anymore, which is different from if this candle happens. No, this candle's always here now. It always matters. That's always going to be here, right? So that's a difference between like something in news happens. The candle might happen, but it's because of news, so now it doesn't matter. Right? How many times have we gone, well, this candle doesn't fucking matter because that was some event. That was Donald Trump tariffs. That doesn't matter anymore. Or this was the Donald, not tariffs. Tariffs matter, but here's a Donald Trump tweet. Oh, market came down. And then 4 hours later, it doesn't fucking matter. Right? And it's not like we lost value. Nothing changed. It's just, it's a pricing of risk. I know I have different levels on different charts. Probably confusing people, but don't care. Nothing I can do. Holy moly, Don, that's a lot of selling. Are you sure? Oh, we're valued out of our mind. Valued out of our mind. Aerospace and defense looking great. Very happy about that trade. Because if we didn't listen, it doesn't need to. It could just being bought on the way down. Could keep going lower, but Again, everything could just be going lower, sure, but we're trying to understand some equity movement to the upside. See what this turns into. This is again, imagine being in something else other than this here. You're getting hurt more often than not. You're still here. You haven't lost anything. Even if you were in like a long trade and you're just sitting in everything, you've only lost 1% from the top here. Everything else you're getting swung around all the time. That's why this is, in terms of just risk and volatility, this is so much better, and which is why you get paid so much on this move here, because this fucking never moves. It never happens. You never get any movement, right? No movement. That's why this here is just so, it's just important. Okay, selling. What do we got? Yields. Let's take a look at the yields. I don't know why I'm looking at it here, but that's not that much. Not that much. Is this going to bounce here? We going to get a bounce or what? Aerospace and defense keeps going. Keeps going. Also, we have bond auctions, so keep that in mind. There's bond auctions going on, so that can cause a bit of neutrality as that comes in. Okay, that's something to, again, equity market's affected by every other market more than any other market, right? The only market that's quite literally affected by everything. I would say that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Exactly what we're seeing. Or anything happen there? It's just neutrality over on this side. The yields are going to rise a little bit until all of them everything gets bought. That's good for this side. Definitely good for this side. You can see the difference, right? Definitely good for this side. Again, it's important to realize that the value trade isn't going to go away, and it also doesn't get so it does, the idea of things that have value do well with higher interest rates or higher yields, right? But they don't get hurt if those things don't exist, because it's the possibility that they could exist, which still lingers at any time. That looming factor is a risk that is always there, and so this trade will always be there, right? That's an important thing to remember, is even when those yields are going down, as soon as yields go down, growth goes up, right? But if yields go up, growth goes down. This side of the trade doesn't get affected. It only gets affected on one side. Sort of like the spot VIX only gets affected if the market goes down, not if it goes up, right? That's not a correlation or something. That's just the way the flows are right now. How we've come to understand it. By the way, if you see these little red these little red tags, that means the chart was posted in the last 2 weeks, last 14 days. I'm going to do that to make it a little bit easier. But the last 2 weeks, if you see that little red tag. Brian says that someone's slamming the 1141 SDCs. Gross. That sounds terrible. Why? I mean, no, I like it, but yikes. The weekly? I definitely like it. It is at the lower end of the range. It's just a weird contract, I feel like. At the lower end of its range. I do like its spot here. I think you have to wait. You can't preempt it because it literally just keeps trending down. It's on a trend. But if it breaks the upper trend here, I would go buy this. Very much in the realm of what we do. Let me just start deleting some. Keep that one level. Do we need any of this? Let's just delete that. Save some drawing space. Okay. Okay, let's stay on the other layout. Again, I posted those levels. Some of those charts have trend lines on them, like I've said. So you'll just need to compare and contrast. You'll have to do that yourself. I'm gonna use this the faster layout because it loads faster and everything else. So you may not see things. You just need to know if there's something there or not. I mean, I'll talk about it as if I see the trend line on the chart. Wow. Fancy. Fancy. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's go over here because you guys were wondering. Tesla pullback from the open. Think about where this is. Right on its level. Again, we have this idea of this trend line coming here, and then from the top here, converging. You don't need to perfectly time it. If you're betting on upside, you don't need to perfectly time it. You just got to be in a position, right? Because if it's going to go to the upside, again, if it's either going to go up or it's going to go down, and you're making a bet on one or the other, right? A couple ways you can draw the trend line here. Now, it's probably better to somehow take this sort of, it's probably tighter like this. Just more wick touches and everything else. So it might be tighter. So it's literally today or tomorrow or never, or it's coming down here. And I would say if this does break this down here, now you could, I mean, you can get a little fruity. You can get a little fruity and say this right here, 650, right? Is that the best? Okay, that's basically the best we can do. Let me put it right at 650. A little bit of an average. A little bit of an average there, 650. See that? Converging? Okay. Well, that's a lot of support, but it also could be that price wants to gravitate towards it. It's either going to break down or fucking launch out of it. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think Tesla's going to go to zero or higher? It's between a rock and a hard place, and it's going to choose probably the hard place. Hard knocks. And the reason I say this is because the equity market is bullish. The equity market's risk on. If growth is going to come back right now as well, this is going to go. Now, it's at the apex here, but this isn't really a pattern. It's more that it's forced to make a move one way or the other. So keep that in mind because I know I've been talking about this a little bit more. If there's an actual pattern, like converging trend lines, and there's like some pattern now, I mean, you could make like some sort of argument that there's something here. So that's when it needs to break out halfway to 2/3 down the trend line here, and it will be stronger, right? That still holds here, that it's not going to make as violent of a move to the upside because it didn't break out earlier. Absolutely. But it doesn't really even matter here at all, because really the lens in which we're looking at it. There's just a trend line, two trend lines converging here. Yes, since it's breaking out closer to here, it's not going to put as big of a move on, but it's not really something that should dictate how you make a trade, right? That's what I mean. It shouldn't dictate your trade here. I expect upside. I'm not going to bet against. I'm not going to bet against the market, so not going to do it. Literally not going to do it. All right. Price is now on top of the resistance. You turn into support, right? That's support. That's not, oh, it bounced on resistance. Nope, that's support. DJI we're looking great on aerospace and defense. Whew. Relief Central. Airlines. And travel is so volatile. So volatile. I'll make a comment here really quick. Probably a good comment to make. There's going to be those. So we had to get out of this position, right? We had to get the fuck out of this position. Who's going to hold there? But there will be those that will say that, oh, you should have held through here. Because if price comes up here in the future, which I expect it to, which is why I'll be a buyer down here. And take my profit, it's in my bank account. In the bank account. I took some money out of the broker, put it in the bank. So took the profits out. But there will be those that say that when price comes up here on airlines and travel, that, oh, see, good thing I held through here. See? That's fucking stupid. Sorry, but that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. As if you're not gonna, I mean, let's just be honest, right? Same with like in here, right? You're not gonna take profit. You're not gonna take profit. Yeah, we re-enter. We buy back in and capture another big move. We're not gonna ever perfectly time though. We're never gonna always be right. And so you can't just always hold through everything and then hindsight capital down to your mind and be like, well, see, fucking told you I held through this 13% loss here. Kept pushing it. No, that's fucking ridiculous. You're gonna lose that trade 90% of the time. Now, if you get shares from fucking down here, you've already held through the worst, so I guess it doesn't matter at that point. You bought from COVID low over here. I guess. Same thing over here. What, you held through this and then you knew it was going to go higher? No, that's just bad, right? Deep fucking value? Okay, he's up like $33 million right now or something, right? Are we still not going to talk about the fact that he held through all this? What kind of value investing is that? Now, the value investing part he did do was that he bought at the low here. Absolutely. Which is overlooked. He did buy at the low. But it's still not value fucking investing. He's got a bunch of memers pushing his portfolio, which, again, props to that fucking dude for making so much money on an absolutely insane trade. Which, again, is not value. It's a bunch of memers buying a ticker and squeezing it, right? Keep that in mind. Again, earnings call proved it. That earnings call should have been filled with memes. They should have been throwing fucking bananas, dicks out for Harambe, right? They fucked that one up. So GameStop, in my book, is dead. That earnings call should have been way better. The fact that they didn't have any memes at all goes to show you how they're not prepared for the next phase. They have no fucking clue. The only thing they said was, yeah, we need to raise capital, obviously. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. You guys should have raised capital a fucking month ago, 2 months ago. What are you talking about? Look at AMC. AMC raised capital multiple times during its move. Just like quick thing to talk about. They raised capital multiple times in here. Did it again. They're gonna exist. They will exist. GameStop, probably not. The whole point of being public is to raise capital. You're given a gift from fucking the meme lords. You gotta take that opportunity. GameStop is terrible. The fact that they didn't do it already shows you that they're not good, which is exactly why it's not a value trade. Fucking terrible management. Unbelievable. I think they just don't know what to do. Like, they're like, it's so funny is that that they were literally just trying to sell off all of the real estate and they were trying to not exist anymore. Maybe like somehow sell the brand and make it digital. Yeah, but you don't need locations for that. So you sell off the entire business, right? I'm sure that was the plan, and then all of a sudden now they're in a really fucking weird spot. How do you sell it if your company's now worth 1,000 times as much as it was a few months ago? How do you sell it off? No one's gonna pay that price. Nobody. Nobody's paying the price for it. So now you have to wait. Fucking stupid. Holy moly, there we go. Again, don't every 5 minute candle doesn't matter, guys. Every 5 minute candle doesn't matter here. Trading a lot further out. I mean, this is already some wonky price movement today. Good thing we're not a day trader. Imagine day trading this market. Jesus Christ. And thinking that's good. Again, all the value comes from after hours. What are you going to trade? 5 basis points? Ooh, just cut 5 basis points. Big ups. Okay, energy keeps going. And this is institutions here. Wednesday. So it's Wednesday we have. Some interesting price action this morning. This is a 1.5% spread in 10 minutes on interesting. Again, these charts do have trend lines. We're just on the other layout. See, we're still going through some consolidation in some areas. But again, we're taking trades understanding that, yes, we're in a consolidation in some areas, but we're preempting trades to just go to the upside. Again, we usually wait for breakouts, but I've talked about this a little bit. We're just going to be buying at support, lower end of the range, even if it's in a consolidation. Obviously, new charts, we're trading the same as always, but some of these charts we've been looking at for a while, we're just buying fucking lows everywhere. Getting involved. A couple weeks ago, that was impossible. Right now, don't give a shit. Price is going to go up. If it doesn't go up, then it doesn't go up. Stopped. Okay. picking a here's a hard part. When you have some of these trades, picking your exit where you're gonna exit the trade is not easy. It's how much are you willing to. This is kind of what I talked about a bit yesterday. How do you manage this trade through here? Where are you expecting price to go? Now, I'm expecting prices to climb through highs, but it's not a straight line. So what am I going to be willing to hold through? What if tomorrow we stop and Thursday we stop? Am I going to hold through those 2 days of being stopped, like just price not moving, and then hoping Friday goes up? Or am I just going to look at it as, again, I'm not going to be hoping. So, or are we going to just look at it as, we're in, you're going to have to stop me out of this trade. Otherwise, I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to see what comes next. I don't need to know what happens. I'm just going to let it go until I get stopped out. I think that's the best way to do it. It's just where exactly, what is the timing? Because that needs to dictate your contracts. I think the best way to do it is those of you that have the money to do it, just buy everything, right? A gradient of short terms into long terms so that you can profit off of each of those and make a decision in different times each way. Because again, if you're buying something, there should be some expectation of movement, and you don't need to be 100% right. You just need to be involved. These are not easy. It's not easy. Okay. AMD through the support here. This is a bit of a average in here. INTC with the wild volatility. I like it though. I like it. I mean, again, this is still up right now. This is up 1.5%. No, it looks bad, but it's good. It's good. Very good. Nvidia bounced on its support. I know it's the other chart has it, but support right there. We like that trade. And then TSM, right? What happened here? What happened over here? News happened. INTC making some big moves. Again, what's going on in the semiconductor market, this whole chip sector? There's a supply problem. We don't have enough. INTC, Intel just came out and said, oh yeah, we're going to make some more. So everyone goes, oh, great. Is this going to really matter right here? Probably not. It's probably going to come right back. So you can do what you want with that. If you're in a position, did you get hurt? Yeah. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you is everyone a mind reader? Everyone knows exactly what's going to happen in the news every day? No. Is this going to change the price? No. This is going to be one of those candles that literally don't fucking matter. I'll guarantee it to you that it won't matter. If you want, I'll pay you for your trade. How about that? How about that? It's to the point where the news part won't matter, and it helped Intel, so it's going to actually help the whole sector. That's the part to remember. The reason the sector's doing well is because all the sector's doing well, not because of an individual company, right? It has nothing to do with individual companies. It has everything to do with the entire thing itself, right? That's all that matters. If AMD starts to come back, the whole thing will come back, right? The whole thing will move. Do I want to buy this down here? I'm fucking close to. I'm really close to, because this was so bearish, and now we're at the bottom of its range. Like, it just can't. The lowest it can go is really down into here, but I don't expect that to, because that would, I mean, yeah, I'll draw the line, but it's not going to really come into play. It could come down here, sure. I just don't expect it to where the market is right now. Now it's getting, all of the semis are getting affected because of that, the Intel news, which makes it a good time to be buying these again. I would absolutely buy right here. I would absolutely buy down here, even AMD that sucks right now, right? This is terrible. But I'm willing to buy it here even. AMD, I really am. I really am. If this is going to be able to turn through here, now I'd probably wait for it to get back on the level. This is probably more important, right? But if it did come down here, I would be a buyer. Trade it right from the low. Trade it from the low, and I would put a lot on that trade. I would put a lot on that trade that this holds that fucking level. I would put a lot on that trade. So if we come down here, which again, if it's going to get hit by news, then it's overselling, and I'm 100% fine with that. I'm completely fine with that due to what I said yesterday of, again, it's the supply diminishing and it's causing prices to go up, which will cause the price of this to go up. It may not be immediate, but it will cause the price to go up because, again, those things do carry over on the supply driven side. That whole thing does really, it's the same reason why you can look at the energy sector and it will go with oil prices, which technically it shouldn't, but it does because everyone needs the same fucking thing. It's not like demand's going away. Everyone needs that still, right? Everyone has there's a chip shortage. Everyone needs it. They're going to pay whatever price, right? See what this move we got here. 20 basis point. Again, these auctions are fucking with things right now. It doesn't mean that things are going to go one way or the other. There's just demand being removed, added. It's actually so much more. It's so much more fun when there's something else affecting the market, and you're trying to. Everyone is trying to time it and trying to figure it out, but it's again we don't really know. You just don't know, and so it's like an added level of variance that you just have to. Everyone has to work through. Love that shit. Just like another element of it adds more competitiveness trying to deal with that, right? It's more risk involved. We need that volatility. It does help. Certainly does help on the derivative side. But I mean, it's so much more fun. Again, pre all of this volatility, you trade one way, and this certainly, again, it might lower the amount of people that are. It might lower like the overall success rate of traders, but those that are successful are certainly getting more out of it. Just like during COVID, right? So many people did so much better because of. Again, I'm not talking about retail. I'm talking about like actual traders because, again, it adds this new element of risk, and it's hard to manage risk, right? CGI out of its fucking mind here. All the way up. All the way up. Transportation still goes. X will just, again, we're just going to keep making the trade. X, we do have expectations of going through the high again, and then then we sort of decide from there what exactly we're going to do. Again, we'll hold through multiple days of take profit. We'll get stopped out of this. I mean, just due to the upside. If it was a different ticker, then if you get to 100% and it starts to take profit, yeah, you'll take your profit. But some charts have too much upside to get out of. What are we doing on the whole mega cap side? What exactly we got here? Don't need liquidity anymore. No liquidity. W, what was that wick down there? That's a 2% spread. Somebody fucked up a trade. Cute. Tesla. Now or never. Now or never. Who's gonna do it? Who in a month is gonna go, oh man, I wish I bought this right here. Oh man. It may not happen, guys. It may not. It may not happen. That's exactly why you'll get paid for it. It may not happen. It might go through this level right here, right now, and fucking go to zero. You're exactly right, little pajama trader. You're goddamn right. You are goddamn right. It could go to zero. You guys see my tweet last night? You don't need to see it on Twitter, but I posted it in the bullshit channel. The S&P will never be down 15% after hours like GME. Few understand this. I thought that was really good quality. Few understand this. S&P will never be down. Just put your money in the S&P, you'll be good. This expected market movement. It's definitely in this consolidation. We've gotten this part right. We've gotten this part right for sure. And again, we're preempting the trade that comes out of the consolidation. That's the important part to remember. We are not following all of our rules by taking these trades. This is in a consolidation. This is quite literally in a consolidation. We've talked about this. This is in a consolidation. We're fucking preempting the move that comes out of it because, again, it's we are betting on behavior. We're literally just betting on people's behavior. That as soon as this starts to go, everyone's gonna realize all of a sudden that, oh, okay, now I can buy this. That's literally all we're doing is we're trading human behavior. Because as soon as a price gets reached, then all of a sudden everyone goes, oh, okay, now I can buy that. Right? How many of you always wait for a price before you buy it? You don't. You just wait. Like if something's at like 99, you'll wait for it to reach 100, and then you'll buy it. You're like, oh, okay, it's going. I can do that now. Or you wait for price to go up just a little bit so you can see it. Right? We know this is consolidating, and we know the process of consolidating. You have this broader part here, which people hold for a longer time, right? Takes them longer to make a decision. As price starts to tighten between two trend lines, you're holding for a lot shorter of a time. You're buying faster, you're selling faster, and it causes price to tighten, right? And reach an equilibrium. And that can only get so tight, and then at a point, it's going to go from buying and selling very quickly and not being able to hold for very long to the exact opposite. Right, where all of a sudden if you buy here and then it starts to move, well, then you don't need to sell quickly anymore, do you? Some people might, but not overall. Right. All we're doing is preempting this move. We're saying, you know what? Market's not going down. The market's not going to go down. Market's going to go up. We came down. We started to consolidate that move. We've established some trends. That's it. That's all we're doing. We're preempting this. What's it going to look like? I have no fucking clue. It's a yes. It's either it's 50-50, up or down. I feel like we have a better chance of going to the up, right? Better than 50. That's for sure. Now, with some of your options trading, you may not have a 50% chance of being. You might be at like a 2% because you bought shit contracts, but that's up to you. I mean, that's up to you. Look at this. Look at that. That's called 400 next week. To this week. SPY 400 this week. Where's Friday? There it is. That's called SPY 400 Friday. Now, does that mean you can buy SPY 400 weeklies? Well, that wouldn't make any sense, would it? Now, would it? 400s won't get you paid. To get paid on 400s, it would need to go to like 402, 403. That's not what I said. Good thing we've been buying. Good thing we bought over here. I know. I'm doing the hindsight capital. But it doesn't change anything. Don't change the narrative. Oh, it's nice looking at charts without fucking 100 lines on them when I already know what a line is. Oof. Trader says, stop it. I need leverage. Okay. Dow's going to 34,000 pretty soon. Looking great today. Some of you are going, holy shit, the Dow's up almost 1% today? S&P, 30 basis points. NASDAQ is down 0.5%. Small caps, rough. Up 75 basis points. Dow, almost 1%? Fuck me. And it's the only thing that's been holding value? So if you were in a long trade, it's the only thing that you wouldn't have to get out of? Holy moly. Holy moly. Wow. That guy should be a wealth manager. Where's Piton? 0. 0. Now, is this a good move for our overall move? The way in which it happened is cute. Again, this here is different. Okay. Get going here. Let's do it. X is, I mean, try to introduce new plays. Fuck. Just not look at anything else. When I said buy things and then go to bed, literally that's the best thing you could have done. You put all your money into value and you just come back to put the new profit back into the market. You could just automate that. You could just automate it. Every time you profit, put a rate back in. Well, again, these are, I mean, it's a lot of points. I know we're in this weird phase where it's like if it's not 10%, it's not that much point, not that many points. Because even I feel that way a little bit. That's not how the market works. 4, 5%, 3%. That's a lot of percent. That's a lot of percent, right? We're getting going. We are getting going, folks. All right. Be right back. Okay. What do we get? We have like an hour for the auction to still go. This whole thing with the tanker ship getting stuck in the Suez Canal is so funny. It's so random. It's such a random fucking thing. And they're talking about how it might like affect the entire energy market in the entire world. Like it's such a strange concept that oh yeah, prices are gonna go up because there's a tanker ship stuck in a canal. It's fucking insane. This timeline is great. Ryan says EOY support coming off. Low end of the range. Swing up, swing down, swing up, swing down, swing up, down. Probably up. Probably. What I'm interested in. That's a violent move right there. Hmm. Okay. Z. Got our trend line. It probably doesn't get any tighter. Z is probably a trade we can take over a lot of other trades. Opportunity cost wise, I'd say this is a much better trade to take than others. What exactly you buy though is the fucking question. It's tightened so much that it's not like it's going to be that big of a move that quickly, but it could just start. I mean, it can rally in a sense. How much time do you need? Let's just fucking buy all of it. Buy it all. We're already buying everything in the market. Might as well just buy all the contracts. Some Aprils, some long terms. I don't think so, buddy. Nice try. Which one? I'm buying the $200 call option, April. Duh. Yeah, I mean, 200 is probably a little too low. Maybe even go to 250. 250 April. Pretty cheap. Nah, 200's fine. Yeah, 200, probably about 200. How much is 200 out of the money? 200's 50%. That's perfect. I think that's great. Fucking dumb questions in chat. I buy at the money, boys. I do like this tightening a lot. Everything is tightening at the same point. I mean, argument is already set. The argument's already set that equities risk on. We're seeing it, feeling it. Everything is right at sort of the tightest point it could be. And so price is going to, we're at equilibrium. Price needs to move one way or the other. We've already got a lot of the dialogue set for what comes next. So now is about as good as it's going to get in terms of liquidity and spreads being tight. Again, it was better to buy. I mean, it's always better to buy lower, but in terms of trading, the ability to make a trade, of course, having a tighter spread and full liquidity at this moment of tightening that's also a pretty good spot to be making trades. Because it does get hard. It does get hard if price starts to break to the upside, and then you try to start to make that move. You have to already know beforehand. So, it's you don't know the exact timing, and it's too late now. It's not like at open now where we're at open, everyone's just throwing their prices out, and so you get what you get, and that's when we take breakout trades like that. You don't do this it's almost 11 o'clock. We don't. You're trying to take out a breakout trade at 11 o'clock, or whether it's like during lunch today or closer to close. That timing, when it starts to break out, you're going to have a spread problem. You have the tightest spread you're going to have right now based on price tightening, right? Tightening here. It's not going to get tighter than that. Unless it's just going to spit here and do nothing for the rest of the week, which is just not going to happen. There's just too many different things happening, right? So in terms of what we've gotten so far from yesterday buying, I know a lot of you bought at close yesterday. Buying a lot of shit at close yesterday. We already got, again, it's important to have that trade because you captured this move here. If you waited till today, you didn't capture this. You didn't capture the almost 0.5%, right? Which is a lot. That sets you up for anything that comes next, right? Now, yeah, you could have fucking lost money. Of course, duh. I'm gonna have to go drop my laundry off. Like I have to walk to the elevator and then go to the door to drop my laundry off. I could literally die during that time. So should I just stay in my apartment? Something I could literally die by. Then a lot of shootings. I could quite literally die. Maybe I should stay in my apartment. I'll just have them come to my door. Hopefully they're not a gunman. Like fucking maybe insensitive, but I'm just saying. Gotta be willing. Gotta be willing to do it. Pay the price. Also, ban fucking assault weapons. Get them out of here. Ban rifles. Ban guns. Get them out of here. What is that noise? The fuck? Don, don't get political on me. I'm here for the trading. Not doing a Trump impression. Fuck Trump. Come on. I would, so in terms of likelihood, melt up lunch is probably over 50%. Probably over 50% due to where we are, due to where the tightening is. And again, if prices are going to go to the upside, then you're kind of stuck. And the reason why I'm saying this as well is that if you saw what we've seen recently is that as soon as the volume starts to come down, it's removing the supply side. it actually removes the supply, and so the demand stays the same, and prices start to increase from that. We've been seeing that a lot. We've been seeing it just a lot, right? Now, we've been getting a lot of take profit into close because of that, right? This is 2 days right here. This is 2 days in a row where the same thing happened. That melt up lunch where you just remove supply, melt, 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 take profit in close. Sure, that can happen. That has nothing to do with the overall. This was a lot of points, right, on Monday. So I expect something similar, with the exception that if you break highs on some of these tickers, they're going to get momentum when that volume is low. And that's an important thing to remember, that we're looking at the average here. Those individual tickers that are doing well are going to get momentum. That's where that sort of that what is going on here thing happens on the value side, because value doesn't really ever move, and then all of a sudden you're getting percent every every hour or something, and you're like, okay, this thing barely moves a percent a day anyway. That's that momentum factor of you're removing just all the selling, and it's just everyone wants to go somewhere, and you're only going to go where the points are. Naturally, right? You chase naturally. The market chases, because that's just how it works. We're all react. All we can do is react, right? It's just whether it's who's better planned, right? It's a that's where, again, we understand where the levels are, and we just try to trade around that. And when you think about where this is, I think it is important to note that you don't have supply. You don't have supply in most anywhere. Think about this right here. Where's the next level of supply? I mean, you can try to tell me that there's somehow like a level in here somewhere. Sure, but it's nothing that converges. Nothing really converges here. Nothing here. I mean, you can try to tell me that, okay, 394, you get 3 wicks here. Okay, but there's been barely any price up here. These are all different circumstances. The only thing is you have all-time high. Is the all-time high a bunch of sellers? No. All-time high is not a bunch of sellers. It's sort of an understanding that, okay, well, it's going to be all-time highs, and if we're going all-time highs, it's going to be a lot of buying. Are we ready for that? Don't bet against what you see, right? Don't bet against what you see. And again, don't look at everything. And I know we're looking at intraday candles and just trying to make it a little bit more interesting, but these don't matter. Nothing in here matters. Where it finishes at the end of the day is where it matters. Daily candle to daily candle matters. And we've been buying a lot, boys, since Friday. And since the 2 Fridays before that, we have been buyers. Don't forget it. We've been doing a lot of buying and been making some money. Some of you might have been losing money from your buying. So now is not a good time to stop buying just because you lost confidence. Oh, lost my confidence. I bought something, got stopped out. Not going to buy it now. Okay. I mean, that's your own. That has nothing to do with anything. That was within a moment of time. You get stopped out on the next 5-minute candle, then that's just you. That's just you, right? If the market's going up but you're losing money on the way up while you buy it, then there's something you're doing that's just wrong, right? That's where, like, the part of it doesn't make much sense that most people don't. Again, if you're average, you won't make money trading. But that doesn't even make sense. It doesn't actually make sense, because if you think about it, the market basically just always trends to the upside. Just to make this point quick, because we've been talking about the market generally just keeps trending to the upside, right? So how is it that people are not making money? How? Right? COVID happened, sure, but you have plenty of time to get out. Okay, and let's say you don't even buy perfectly down here. You buy somewhere in the May or something, right? Even then, how are you? It's been trending up. How are people losing money so much all the time? It's just, again, that's just what makes trading such a fun activity, so competitive, so challenging, a problem to be solved. That people are losing money all the way up while they buy. People are buying all the way up and they're losing money the entire time. How? I mean, it's really, Again, it's because it's not easy, right? You buy at the top and then sell at the low, and then you have to make up all of that loss. And it might take all of this to make it all up, and then you make another one bad decision. It only takes one trade. I think someone finally, was it, I think maybe it was you, Mobsky, that finally said it. It only takes one trade, but it also only, that could also be up or down, right? Volatility is up or down. It only takes one trade. Well, it only takes one trade to blow you up too, right? If you don't have a stop or something, right? You make a bad decision, and so it might just take one trade to make 100%, but it only takes one trade to lose 100% as well, right? Now, that should never happen. And that's the part where I think just being here, you should be able to, I mean, it should be almost a guarantee that if you're following any concepts from here, that you should just be able to turn the corner to profitability, and you should not be losing money overall, right? Like overall in a year, you should be making money. It's just how much is the question, and that comes down to everyone's self. But just being here, no one should be losing money, right? You are not going to have, every day is not going to be a green day, right? That just does not exist. Of course not, right? Every day is not going to be a green day. But overall, you should be past break even, right? And then it comes down to, okay, where are we putting the money? How are we doing it? But again, it's amazing to think that a majority of people lose money even when the market's trading up. And it's better just to put your money, that's where, imagine trying to make GME work all the time when you could just put your money in the S&P. You could literally just put your money in the S&P, and that will never happen. This shit will never happen. What was the spread here? 76.76. The S&P will never lose 76% from its high to low in one day. It will never lose 76% in one fucking day. There's a point where GME lost like 50% in like 30 minutes. The S&P will never lose 50% in 30 minutes. It will never happen. Few understand this. It will never happen. It will never happen. You just put your money in. It may not be sexy. And a lot of things that I do is not sexy, and I just try to make it sound sexy and fun and cool and risky and wow, look at that timing, right? That I am so much less of a, I don't take many risks. I do, it's because of it's a risky if you only make one of those trades. It's not risky if you make 100 trades, right? There's a big difference. Like casting the wide net, you'll capture some and not others. It's that those ones that you capture that give a lot of points. So remember that point where I may be making trades to make 100%, and they're risky in the sense that they're options and it's directional and it needs to happen. But I'm making so many of them that only 30% of them need to be 100% to fucking make me profit for 100% of the year, right? That's a difference. So that's because I have a lot of positions, and yeah, 70% of those may not be 100%, maybe 40, 50% of those could be stopped out. But stopped out is break even. So not losing money on those trades. They're just giving me opportunities. The only thing I'm losing is the money that I could have put on something else that made money, but you don't know. You just don't know. But the reality is still that you could just put your money in the market. I mean, even if you bought down here, that's still 41% in the last 9 months. 40% on 10,000, 40% on 100,000. And you didn't have to trade at all. That was just underlying. You bought some shares. You just bought some shares. You didn't do anything for a fucking year. I mean, 9 months, right? The only reason to trade is because you can beat the average. Otherwise, you're wasting time. Just go put the money in a fucking Vanguard account. Honestly, you'll make plenty of money. Right now, you're making plenty of money. Don, I want to be a trader. I know I can do it. I'm just busy working all the time. Don't really have time to look at charts, but I'm gonna do it. Yep, and I'm gonna be an Olympic athlete. I run for 10 minutes a day, but I'm gonna be an Olympic sprinter. Trust me. I sprint 10 minutes a day. That's my workout. I sprint for 10 minutes as soon as I wake up. I'm gonna become an Olympic sprinter. What would you guys tell me? Hey Don, you're gonna need to run more than 10 minutes. Oh, really? Oh, you're telling me that you work more hours in your normal job than trading and you're gonna become a professional trader? Okay. Okay. Piton, exactly. The Pete, I love the bike. I met a new lady friend on the bike. I was showing her up though. I was fucking sprinting on that Peloton. That's all I do. I don't want to take the time to like do a long thing. I'm not about endurance. I'm about the. I mean, I have good endurance, but I like to sprint. That's what I do. So I got on that bike and pedaled that thing to the max speed. That shit's insane. I wasn't in the class thing, but they do put like the person in front of you or whatever, and I'm just fucking I'm like I'm not even going with like the speed you're supposed to or like the rhythm. I just fucking went right through it. I love that. I think the lady I kind of scared her. I don't think she can be my lady friend now. Like that guy's got issues. What is he doing? Fucking sprinting on a bike. Done in 20 minutes. Holy moly, guys, there's some big candles over here. How are we doing on this side? Okay, I like this. See, I do like the way this set this up. That volatility, what do we bet on this week? More volatility, more speed. Speed the way down, speed on the way up. A lot more speed, not sideways trading, not this shit over here, not this, not this, this. Now we might hit our head. Okay. See what we get. I mean, it does make lunch interesting. We did just test the or confirm the support over here on Ford. That's really nice on F. That price moves through the level, comes back down, hits the wicked right to the level. 1246. That's very good. Very good. Because again, sometimes you start to climb through, but then you fall back through really easy, like right here, right? You never confirm the support over here. Now this is only a 5-minute candle, so you need a little bit more than that. But it's the point that it did do that. It came through, tested it, and then is going to now continue the move. That's an important concept, and this is a great level, by the way. So look at these. Look at this move here. These moves on this level are great. So the move through, testing it, seen it multiple times now. 1246. Why not 12 and a half? Because this is the fucking level here. Why? That's just where people trade. Right? Where people trade. Not always exact on whole numbers. It's important. Oh, this might be a good list for some of you. It's important to realize there are times when it's not going to be the whole number. It won't be 12, it won't be 12 and a half, it won't be 13. It won't be like those numbers that you think of being good. There are times when it will be like this. 1246 is the fucking level. There is a difference between 1246 and 1250 here. This is a big difference between these two things here. Or from down here at like 12, right? Or 1225. These are really big differences, especially if you're trading options. They make all the difference in the world. So it's really important to realize when there is a difference between sort of like the whole number, psychological number sort of phenomenon, and then in actually the actual level that is being traded on, right? Why does it work like that? I mean, it does happen. There's a lot of examples of this. I don't know if I want to use a SPY as an example. It's usually when it's a smaller price, a lower price, but it's also when especially like if you look at value is probably the best example we have. This is probably the best example we have is when it's value, every point is larger, every 1% is larger than like 1% on like a growth chart. So that's usually uh, a lot more in the realm of you won't get whole number support and resistances, right? Love the candle so far. See if we can get out of here. If you didn't get out of this position, then you weren't here at open or in pre-market. I might get back in though. Hey Don, should I sell it now? Don, should I sell it now? I'm in. I bought in up here. Should I sell it now? I'm probably a buyer right here. Probably a buyer right here. We took the profit. Took the profit coming out of the open. This right here. I talked about it from here. No, I didn't take it from the low here or the high here at the first 5-minute candle, like I talked about. But right within there, as soon as this starts to come down, I talked about it. This will happen. You can't really trust the beginning here because it's benchmarking to the other index. I told you that Asia was down. They're gonna react to it. You get out of that trade. This is now back in its level though. Back in this range. This is, I mean, I know it's a spooky candle. It might be a wait until tomorrow open. This is a strong area though. Very strong area, and I would argue there's a trend line here. Right on the trend line. And then this here. So yeah, I like it. Again, this move here was great. Fucking phenomenal. Phenomenal. Whether you got it, no one got it there at the top. You would have lost a few percent. That's a great trade. A great trade. Again, I have it on the other chart with the trend lines. Remember, there's a trend line there. Can you buy it right here? Possible. Oops. We don't want volume. Okay, we're going. How much have we come off? We're gonna probably hit this high. Oh yeah, we're gonna hit the high. Yeah, SPY 400 by Friday is like. If again we have this tightening, if we're gonna clear the trend line, it's gonna be a move. This is the side that still has a ways to go, right? Reminder. This is just. What do I need to say, right? What do I need to say? You've been like a few percent above the prior all-time high comparatively to all the other charts. All the other charts are still sticking around with their high here. Look, S&P is doing great, but it's still not above the high from over here. Nasdaq, really fucking far away from its all-time high over here, well below this high. Small caps, about the same as the S&P now because that day yesterday. And then the fucking Dow, well above this high here, and right at its all-time high. This is, again, like I said, don't, whatever. Hindsight capital. But I'm on record. We do it live. We do it live here. We're not like the others. We're not like the others. We do this shit live. Imagine if I just, well, this is what other people do, but imagine if just like every day after the market closed, I went, see how this went, this went up, and that's why I took that trade. And you just make shit up every single day that, oh, well, see, I knew that was going to happen. I knew the NASDAQ was going to do 4%. And that's why I put the trade on the day before at the very absolute low. Imagine if I did that. Well, that's what everyone else does. Most people do that. That's their content. Fucking scary. That's scary. Accountability, 0. Really scary. And by the way, you can pay a whole $1,500 for that if you want. $1,500 a month for some quality content like that. Read my newsletter. Read my newsletter. Here's what happened in the market the last month. Oh, well, in my last newsletter, guys, I wrote that I thought tech was going to go up. Well, tech went down, but now I think the value trade's going to be very good after it's already gone through all-time high for like the last month. Now the value trade looks great. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. You've never even placed a trade in your life. You've never even placed a fucking trade. What are you talking about? Unbelievable. Well, I have a $25,000 account and I don't have PDT rules anymore. So I'm going to sell this information. Fucking scary, guys. I'm just scared. Doing a lot of weird things out there. I just know that those kind of people are if they are trading, they are on the other side of the trade. Those are most of them obviously don't trade that do a lot of that stuff, but like the hindsight capital kind of folks. But those that do, they're just on the wrong side of the trade. You just know they are. They're right on the other side of us. Or they're buying what we sell them. So yeah, they're on the wrong side. Not to be critical of them, but I find it disingenuous and I find it taking advantage of people. So that's why I say it. That's why I say it. Plenty of well-intended people that make it clear. And that's fine. All for that. People that take advantage. Imagine being like or I guess driving doesn't count. A skydiving instructor. You're a skydiving instructor that's never skydived before. That's who I want teaching me to skydive. So here's how you do it. You put the parachute on the front, put it right on your belly, and then you jump out of the plane with your belly down. And then they go, I think that this is how it works. Really hoping that this works. Oops. Let's see if this comes here. Might be a good time. Yeah. It might be a good time to take that. See if we can sneak some of these in. I'd like to buy at the low end here. I'd like to buy at the low end, but might have to take the break here on some of these trades. Trade it up to the level and then see if we can get through. I don't really know, though. I don't really feel good about some of these trades. Just kind of... talking about adding on. Adding on for some of these. This was a buy. Yeah, this energy bounce back is saving some face for sure. Saving from some goddamn face. I mean, you think about that. It doesn't get much better than that. If it continues is the question, and I think it's gonna depend on some of the things that are outside of the equity market that we don't have control of the equity market to begin with, but we certainly don't have any real idea some of these other things that could happen. Tough trades over there on travel. Not going to try to time those. Not going to try to time them. BRKB, I do like this over here. Talked about this. Preempting that trade multiple times. Facebook, very good stop. 2 stop days here. Very good for this move. Apple, still waiting for Apple to come back through. This would also be very good in terms of this quick, again, where it's the same thing applies. You get this consolidation, it's tightening, tightening, tightening. We bought at the low, expecting a move to the upside. It's confirming more that it's finishing a consolidation. Whether or not it goes or not is the question, and that's what we're betting on. This is the one exception here, and again, this is because of China. We talked about this morning. Asia was fucked again, and we're not going to try to deal with it. So again, Neo Chinese company. Talked about it this morning. Here's the Hang Seng. Hang Seng is super bullish until it's not. Until it's not. Until it's not. Right? This was with all of growth. We talked about it, that all of growth was coming down. And then once it started coming in here and tightening, this is exactly where the NASDAQ is right now. And so we expected upside. Maybe the NASDAQ does the same thing, right? Maybe the NASDAQ and growth does the same thing, where you get this tightening. It seems like, oh, and then all of a sudden, but this is all tied to like Chinese economy and everything else. News came in, sold. So Chinese companies are getting hit with that, right? Shit will happen. We're in a very different state though. Very different state. CVS candles, says Brian. Yeah, we was looking at that red chart earlier. Let's see what we got here. Very nice. Very nice. Rad doing the same thing. Rad's got a few more points on it though. With that trade. Red, it's funny. Look at the difference between these. Here's a good example of the percent thing, right? This is 4.5%. This is 2.5%. But the candles are just fucking twice the size. We're looking at the same timeline right here. Time frame. Very, very interesting dynamic between those two. Right? Very different. All of these are going. These are great trades, by the way. These are great trades, by the way. These consolidations like this. I mean, what do? We trade breakouts. Breakout, consolidate, breakout. Where are you going to take that trade? From the change from consolidating to breaking out. That's what every single one of the charts I post is, right? That's all we're doing all the time. GME is now down 21.5%. Again, most of us put puts on. I got puts. I was talking about puts over here. Didn't put it on that day. Put it on at open yesterday. Added some more during the day. This is paying pretty well. Is this a great trade? A good trade? It's just a trade. It's just the trade. It was the thing here is the later you bought this, the less money you're making. And I think Mobsky said it yesterday. It's like the price was going up in here, and then the puts were still increasing because everyone just started buying puts. It's not like the market doesn't know. It's only the people that have no fucking idea how things work. They don't know. And again, it's sort of, this is where there's like This is where like the legal thing comes in of people taking advantage of a moment, telling people to keep holding GME and buy it and shit like that. That's if you don't truly know, okay, well then you're just like a part of the bandwagon. But there are people that know better. There are people that know better. And so if people are, and this doesn't have to do with like shares and shit, that won't ever fucking matter. But if it's you're putting bets on, you're buying calls over here, and then now you just lost all the value of your calls, that would be a situation where you would look to where did this person get that information. Again, if you're holding shares, you're only down 20%. It's still up 1,000 fucking percent year to date. It's up 1,000%. People don't care about 20%. Of course they don't care about 20%. That's not the point that matters. It's the people that bought up here, bought calls near the top, bought calls over here at the top, that we're being told to do that by people that know better. People do know better, that you should not be doing that. If you want to get shares and shit, then okay. You want to believe, then fine. And you want to tell other people to believe, then fine. But it's the people that are losing money by betting that there's going to be. That's why we're getting some of these things, and I understand it. I think you should let people do. If they try to block WSB and shit, I think that's fucking complete infringement on people's rights to do things. I do think you need to, and I'm so critical of these people, that you do need to weed out those bad actors, though. You have to weed out those bad actors, especially the ones that don't know what they're talking about. And that's what I was just talking about earlier. Like I said, I'm not going to critique people for things that they do that I think I do things better than them. I'm not going to do that. That's just fucked up. People that don't understand things do that. And that's what these people do. They try to act like they know more. They don't even do anything like in real time. They just kind of make up ideas, sell the ideas or give the ideas out to possibly benefit themselves some nefarious way, knowing that they don't know themselves. Or worse, are the people that do know that are not even taking that trade. They're on the other side of the trade and getting people to do shit like this. Listen, everybody knew this was not going to go well with earnings. Everybody knew that. Even the people that were long knew that. But there's people that bet on it that it was going to do well. There's a problem there. There's people that are, no one's going to get in trouble, but people should. People that do run like these discords and shit that are doing shit like that should get fucked. They should get fucked. I just think it's fucked up. I saw this SEC filing. Some of you might have saw this. It came up on the Bloomberg. There was a guy selling information, but he called it inside information. But he was just selling good fundamental advice and shit, like just good technical tips and good fundamental like ideas, and they actually made people profit. So he had these, like, this was just recently, like this week. He was selling advice that was good and people were profiting off of it. But you know how he sold it? He said it was insider information so that more people would pay for it. So the stuff he gave out was actually making people make money. And so the SEC and the FBI called the people that bought from this service. And these people thought they were getting in trouble for insider trading. The FBI told them, listen, they were like, hey, Don, listen, we know about your trades. And then these people were going, oh, no, they got me for inside information. And they go, listen, this is not going to be how you think it is, but the information you bought actually was not insider information. So you're actually not in trouble. So the money that you made, you can keep. But we need to know who this guy is because he's selling fake insider information. It was just good information that he said was insider information. Now he's going to jail for it. Literally going to jail for it. Could you imagine? That would be like me here giving you guys advice and then telling you that it's all insider information. And if you make money, then that's actually illegal. So all you have to do is not say that. I thought that was one of the funniest fucking stories I've ever seen in my life. Was the guy was giving out good advice and people made money, but he just said it was fucking insider information. It's insane. It's so funny. That's it. You guys can Google that. I'm sure it'll pop up like the first thing. wherever the article is. So stupid. I mean, I'm sure it pays better to say it's insider information, right? I'm sure it does. Whether they make money or not. Just funny. But so there are, so what the point I'm making is that there are laws and shit in place for giving out information, which is why I talk so much here. Like, there's certain things that we just have to, like, keep, you can't be specific about things and you have to keep it broader because people do get in trouble for this shit all the time. Right? Especially, again, especially the people that are, like, being nefarious in some sort of way, right? Which are a lot of people. Like, kids should not be having groups of like 1,000 people and telling them to buy 10-cent call options that expire tomorrow and are 50% out of the money. That's not good. I mean, it's just, the stimulus checks were not for putting it on complex derivatives, right? And thankfully, it looks like the call volumes are actually down. So it doesn't look like everyone's putting all their money on calls, probably because they lost all their money the last time. That's the difference. I was looking at the call volumes. I was like, oh, April's going to be the highest volume ever. Nope, March looks like it's going to top it off because people are not being stupid and putting all their money in calls this time. Oh, man, you don't want to lose money again this time? Imagine losing all your money on GameStop and then going, you know what? I'm going to just keep the $1,400, maybe go on a vacation this time. Put it towards rent. Yeah, never mind. Okay. I would normally say get the fucking memes out of the goddamn trading floor, but there's nothing really going on, so I don't care. I don't care. We don't really have anything to talk about. Or people need to type tickers into to chat. We already bought things, right? Those of you wondering, hey man, what can I buy? I mean, you're not late. I mean, there's just, you can do whatever you want. I don't care. We're doing well on the aerospace and defense side. Bought overselling. Still waiting for this. Some of these moves are interesting. Like, this is where you don't look at this because then it throws you off. Is it crazy to buy Viacom here? Yes. Yes. And again, this is news related, as in doing a big offering, right? They're doing a big offering. Is it going to go back? Yes. That offering, it's $3 billion, which is a lot. Price will likely continue to go to the upside. The whole sector is still going to the upside. But you can't go buy this right here. No. Yes, you can say that this candle will likely disappear, but it's going to need to consolidate it. This chart is a trending chart. Here's what I would say. If this chart was bouncing back and forth a lot, I can't remember what chart I was just talking about that's like that I'll buy on that. Or TME, right? TME is sort of has the candle like this, but I would be buying that like the next day it open quicker than I would this, because this chart's only been trending. It's never been, it has no levels. TME has a big support level. Does Viacom have support right here? No. There's nothing up here. There's literally nothing up here. So you're going to need to build a level. I don't care if this fucking thing goes up 10% right now. You don't get to guess, and you don't get to be able to figure that out because you don't know, right? So no, I won't take that trade. Again, we don't put risky fucking trades on. That's the reality. We keep our money. We never lose our money. Too many times are you going to lose your money right there. Even though I do believe this is going to come back. I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just an offering. The offering will go away. That the whole idea of that will go away. And it's better for it anyway in the long term, but you need to consolidate this. This is probably going to be a wedge and be a great breakout trade. It probably will be a great breakout trade, honestly. So And you know what's so funny? What's going to be really funny about this? Again, we had to. This was 9% yesterday, and we had to get out of that trade, right? We had to get out of the trade. It's too much yesterday. Talked about that. But you know what's so funny about this trade, or what's happening right now, is there going to be people that said, "Ha ha! I told you it was the top. I told you it was the top." Right? Okay. Well, then show us. Did you get any of this gain? Did you get any of the thousands of percent in here? Did you gain any of that? And show me your short. Show me your puts and how much you gained on that trade then. You ask those fucking people, they won't have it, will they? All they have is what they said. They just have what they said, and they said top. How many times did they say top? Do you guys remember how much I told you this was? This was 2,200%. This right here was 2,200%. From this candle to this candle. That was 2,200% on the calls. And people were calling top through this whole thing. And then all of a sudden it comes back to right where that was. And they'll be like, ha ha, told you. It's like, no, ha ha, told you. Made fucking money. You didn't make anything. You have your words, right? It's important to realize that. The difference between those, because again, it's really easy to look at this and then be like, oh, good thing I didn't do anything. No, it's not a good thing you didn't do anything. This is one of those trades. It's not, I'm not saying trading's easy, but again, it's one of these trades that keep trending up. It's very hard to go get into that trade. And I know it's hard. And I talked about how hard it is, but you just have to do it because you got paid for doing so. Did you get paid for shorting? Well, how do you know when to short? You would have had to shorted the entire way every single day. Get stopped out every single day shorting. For how long? A really long fucking time. So again, these like guessing where the top and shit is just so stupid. It's people that don't know. They literally have no idea. No idea, right? It's never like that. You never get, there's times when you will get lucky on big gap ups and take profit and be like, well, I'll take it. Thank you. You didn't know that shit was going to happen. Doesn't matter. But yeah, we're not going to buy that. Maybe next week. Maybe next week. Or if it consolidates very quickly, we'll see. I mean, there's some possibility that if it holds there all day, like it creates support all day. Tomorrow it trades flat again all day. It's possible you could have something by Friday. Entirely possible, but we'll need to see that support. Otherwise, it's too again, it's too likely that it's going to be bouncing back and forth too much, and you wouldn't even be able to put a straddle on because it could just trade flat. It's more likely that it will trade flat and consolidate. You never want to put a straddle on if something's going to consolidate. Consolidating is tightening. That means you're not going to get the move that you need. As soon as that shit starts to tighten, your straddle will get absolutely destroyed, which is why you put straddles on when a breakout is coming. Breakdown or breakout, which is when something is tightening, like this right here. You could put a straddle on because price is going to make probably a move this way or that way because it's tightening, right? That's just a convex trade. Again, betting on gamma. Gamma's at its highest point. It's going to go somewhere else from there, right? So I'm going to sit at one level forever if it's tightening. Haha, I told you. Just like they told us on all of our long trades. Or they, you know what's actually so funny are the people that do like the perma bear thing or like calling top thing. It's amazing how much, first of all, they're wrong about guessing the top all the time, but how much if they just did it the other way and just guessed bottoms every single time, if they did the exact opposite and tried to guess bottoms, how much more money they would actually fucking make and how much more right they would be. If they just flipped the script and guessed bottoms every time, they would be admired. If you just guess every bottom, you'd be doing fucking incredible through all of human history. You just guess the bottom of the market. You'd be doing great. Imagine trying to guess the top. Insane. It's literally insane. And it's scary to think about that people do that. All you have to do is just guess. Everything could be a bottom to you. Literally everything. And you would make money. Nope, I'm gonna guess the top on everything actually. Yeah, we're what do we got? It's 11:30. Coming into lunch. Volume is going to be removed. Be interesting to see once the volume really does get removed for lunch, if we do get the melt up idea. We've already put a lot of points on here so far, but we've sort of consolidated a little bit of that intraday. We'll see if we do get this idea or not. It's not that it doesn't really matter what it does, but I'm just interested to see if we get that confirmation of that idea, because we've been getting this a lot, and it would just really mean that everyone's sort of still thinking the exact same thing, because again, price is only moving because people are trading. So there are people still trading during lunch. Like someone's buying this right now. I don't know who, but people are. I mean, algos and shit are still trading and everything else. So boom, boom. Again, still up over 50% on GRWG. Silly. Again, the difference between okay, now again, this is not an easy trade, and this had nothing to do with pot stocks here. Is there everything to do? I mean, they all of pot stocks had a support down here, so we bought on fear, but we bought everything in the market down there because of where it was trading and how it was trading, right? And so also it was a weekend trade, and we were putting risk on over the weekend. We didn't need to be right. We just needed to not be really fucking wrong, and we would have been fine, right? Because we got points during the day on Friday. And so it's important to realize on a trade like this, the only reason you're able to stay in this trade here is because it never actually reversed. If this, for instance, reversed right here, we would have had to get out of the trade. If it reversed here, we'd have to get out of the trade. Now up here, you're so in the money that these points don't really matter anymore. So again, it depends on your position. If you're in short terms, you've taken profit because it was trading sideways. But if we look at this in the context of pot stocks, right? You have significant support in here, and it's very bullish, right? It's very bullish, and so you have new ideas of buying here again. And again, it's specific to the tickers. Look at CGC here. This is not done as well on the move, right? And you guys try to put this on the Costa Nostra account, right? It got a lot of points, and then there was a news event, but it's not many points on the underlying, right? Look at the difference between this and that GRWG. Again, it's the people who are trading it. GRWG does have a lot more, I would just say, better trading going on, and there's not like this, I need to get out right now, take my profit. You can see the difference. Now, is this in a bad spot here? Well, no, it's coming right back down into its support here. This move, again, the same thing applies. If the market's going risk on and it's going to the upside, what is going to happen with retail traders that buy pot stocks? Retail traders do not buy pot stocks if the market's going down. They make all of their judgment. They look at the S&P. Is the S&P going up? Well, the S&P wasn't going up. I can't buy. Oh, S&P's going up. I'll buy pot stocks. Again, that same thing applies where, no, they're not correlated completely, but a lot of the volume is tied to whether the market's going up or down. People make decisions like that. They make decisions that aren't even connected, but that's how decisions are made, right? If it's not going up, I'm not going to buy it. Keep that in mind for that angle, because again, that is a spot where we want to be buying at lows and on, the lower end of a range. GRWG's in a good spot. I like that trade. CGC, I think you don't need to preempt if it's not really moving very much. You wait for that to start to break towards the upside. It like starts to pivot. You can wait. You can lose 1% or you can miss 1% or 2% to confirm it. because that chart has not moved at all. And so comparatively, GRWG is up fucking 50% still. It was up like 75%, right? That those are two different things, completely different things. So whether that's going to catch up or not, we're betting on the market. We'll see though. We'll see. Those still are timing. Those have some timing issues. Hmm. Come back. Come back to the patterns. Give us the trend lines, man. I want to see them lines on them charts. Okay. There we go. Here's your lines. Anthem. We bought down here. First pattern. Continuation wedge. 334 to 343. We reached that in the 2 weeks. Then upside breakout. 382, 392. 79 days. We are in the trend line right now from the previous pattern, which still matters, right? Trend line still matters here. Having a great day so far. Again, this healthcare sector has not hurt you. If you've just been in this trade, this could have been your one trade. You've literally been going in a straight line. You haven't lost money on any day. On any day, you have not lost money on this trade. The underlying has been down at most, looks like 1%, 2%, under 2%. It hasn't gone down 2% on any day. And since this day, it's only gone down. This candle was it. That was at resistance. So, this trade, this could have been your one trade that you don't need to do anything else on ever. Healthcare has been great. I've talked about this sector for like the last fucking year as being the area in which we were going to be able to get a lot of value out of it. The fact that again today, just like last week, with this breakout through the resistance here, we're respecting levels that, you know, they're just ideas. They're just a fucking idea. It's not like set in stone. And we're respecting them. We've got good confirmation on this trend, this continued move. I would not bet against this. I would not bet against it. What's going to happen? Oh, this is the top. This is the top. This can't go any further. It's going to happen. It will happen. This is well above its all-time. This was the previous all-time here from 2 years ago. We've been setting all-time high this entire from last year, from presidential election. You don't need to go deep. You don't need to do anything else. It's just price. I want you to remember though, these charts that continue to trend, if you keep missing it, how much did I talk about over here? How much did I talk about over here? Oh, see, I was like, you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. It's not that it's an easy trade, but again, a lot of this has to do with you're watching it though. You're watching price. You hear someone say it. It's not easy because you have to actually take the trade yourself. And you could be wrong. Absolutely. But if the plan actually happens, what you're trying to plan to do, which it did up to here, and now it's breaking through the levels and doing here, then you're getting confirmation of that idea, which means something's going correctly, and there's a reason to make that trade, right? It's you're removing some of the guessing and not knowing, and actually you're getting a reaction that you expected. There's things that are happening, and there's a behavior that you expect. If someone does the same thing every single time, then it's a behavior, and you can see it, right? You know they're going to do it. If every day you know I'm going to come in here and say, good morning, you would put a bet that I'm probably going to say that tomorrow. You can probably put a bet that I'm going to say that tomorrow. Why? Because people say good morning to each other, right? People also buy in a very similar way and sell in a certain way. A little bit more complex, but you know, there's a pattern, right? There's a pattern to all of us. I know that people in here are gonna ask the same question every single time, whatever it is. I know I'm gonna get the same DM from the same person every single day, and I'm gonna keep not responding because I don't need to respond. It's the same thing. They know. They just want to say it. These kind of things, right? Pattern. It is a pattern. If something just keeps happening, is it not a pattern? That's where a trend becomes a trend. It's continuing to happen. Do not sleep on this still. You slept on it all the way down here, and then it got too far away and you didn't want to do anything with healthcare. You gotta, again, it's not easy, but you gotta make the hard decisions. Now, there's other trades. There are other trades. UNH is, again, what's a part of the Dow, which we've been very bullish on this in the same way since over here, right? Very important to understand that this chart's doing very much like the Anthem chart. Now, these are sort of the two that are a little bit different than the rest of the companies, right? It's important to understand that there are big differences. When we say healthcare, they could be very different fucking things, right? Bios are a completely different ballgame. Those are all short-term sort of things. Even when you go to something like Unum here, this is now, it's made a very similar move, but it is also operating very differently in here, that it's taking profit with sort of the banking side, with the tertiary finance side, right? So there's different things that get involved here. And so it's important to, again, realize that, okay, there's like a little bit of a timing error on some of these things, a little bit different. This is a little bit more bank oriented, right? I still call this like this is like health insurance, but you know what I'm talking about. There's that, and then there's again the bio side, that you have these bios that are just on their own schedule that we take for short-term trades, right? That healthcare side though, Anthem, United, they're not gonna fucking stop, guys. I really don't think they're going to. There's so many different things happening with that. I mean, we're not gonna get into all of that, but technically they've been very good. Oh, LSU must have just woke up. He says, damn, Neo, what the fuck? Must have just woke up. Nice day to sleep in. Or I mean, I guess really, there's a lot of different ways that conversation could go. Also, just, you know, like the part where, oh yeah, Asia's having a great day. that could have been at like, what time? At 2 in the morning. You knew before the market opened. Oh man, well, Asia's down, I have to get out. No. I think, again, I think we can be a little critical of LSU. I think he bought Neo like up here or something. Yeah, that's just bad. Don't do that. I mean, we're very bullish on REITs. We're very bullish on REITs. There's about 100 charts that look just like this. You could be in O. You could literally be in any. Yes, I expect all these to continue to go. I know it's a mess to look at. I know it's really hard to look at this. You have to just kind of, you have to remove sort of some of these intraday ideas and look at it like this. What was the most recent read I just posted? Shit. What was the most recent read? I know it's not this. I'm trying to think. I posted a lot. But is it going to break? I don't know. But again, it's the buying, it's not the buying on the break. You can definitely see the resemblance around all the value charts, right? Very much like I would say the reason why we use the small cap chart for so long is that a lot of these charts are the REITs charts are very similar to those, right? And a lot of them are actually part of that. And so I would use Russell in conjunction with the reach charts if anyone's trying to get those. These do all look, again, think of our dialogue right now. We're expecting equities to be risk on to continue to the upside. We're expecting this to break here, right? So it's one thing that, like Brian is saying, like, is this break in supply here? Definitely looks like it's going to, right? We can understand there's a lot of supply around this whole thing here, right? Is this the time it breaks through here? Most of these charts already have. Most of them actually already have. This is lower. There's still some charts that are stuck. Are they not going to come back in terms of value and come back to that high before COVID? Are they not going to do that? Well, most of them will. Through some form or another, the whole sector will. Some tickers may not, but they should somehow give value to one another. I was trying to think what, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks good. Again, a good example of charts that REITs barely move, but it's a lot of points though, right? It's still a lot of points if you're betting on it because it's relative, right? It's not the underlying points that matter. It's how much it moves relative to itself. So options will still pay out the same amount. APLE. That was the other one. APLE. That's what I was just thinking about recently. I think there's another one though. APLE. Look at the difference, right? This chart's up here. Chart's up here. It's already came back. A lot of charts have done this where we had this just nasty consolidating and then it broke out. We started trading all of those, right? We started trading all of them. Really, we started trading them all from the election, and a lot of them are already up here, right? This recent action though, this volatility is what you crave on a chart that barely moves. You crave that volatility because it allows for movement and allows you actual upside. Allows you to actually gain something, right? Oh, I think I missed your other point, Brian. Where do WBA, CVS, and RAD get categorized? Part of the XLV or retail stores? XLV. You mean XL, XLE, XLT, XLF, XL, XLV? No, they're not an XLV. No, I don't think so. They're retail stores. Yeah, retail stores. They're retail stores. Does anyone know the retail store? The retail store X ETF, XRT, exactly. I was joking. Yeah, they're a part of retail stores. Now, they're not all specifically like within that, but they are retail stores. Yeah, all retail stores. Um, consumer, it's like the consumer services, but then there's specifically the actual retail trade stores, right? I mean, how many of them are in here? How many of them are in here? This is again all GME. This is all GME. That's why we don't trade with this. We used it when we were getting exposure. Okay, again, quick reminder: we don't trade averages, and ETF is an average. We will use them when we're trying to get exposure to multiple tickers. So, for instance, when we took this trade here, we were getting exposure to GameStop. Why? What was going on over here at the beginning of March? Let's take a look. Oh, well, there was sort of this. Oh, right. That was the part where we talked about how we had this sort of, oh, the market makers were buying the underlying and then it squeezed. Right. And so we were getting exposure without getting fucked by this at the same time, getting exposure to multiple things. We used XRT in this moment, right? As soon as GameStop started selling, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna hold all the way through? And be like, well, fuck me. Don said this was gonna go. He said it was gonna go up here. This is GameStop. It's like fucking 8%. But yeah, we trade the individuals, right? Individual tickers, always, always. There are times, again, there are times when we'll use the ETF because of risk reasons, liquidity reasons as well, and sometimes timing. You just need to get, or yeah, it's really liquidity. You don't have fucking time to go get filled on some of this stuff, and you want to buy everything right now. You go buy SPY, Qs, and you're done. You can put $1 million trade on and get filled in fucking 5 minutes. Less than that. You get filled immediately. You could almost get filled immediately. Basically immediately. You buy the ask, done. Give me 1 million of that. Give me 1 million shares right now. Not 1 million shares, but $1 million worth right now. Oh, you want to buy SPY 400 calls right now? You go put $1 million worth of SPY calls on right now and get filled immediately. Market makers will fill you instantly. They have no problem. Exactly what they're there for, right? Now, can you do this on other tickers? No, that's why you have to do it through those big ETFs that have fucking infinite liquidity. The whole point they exist. Mega caps? No problem. You want to go put 100,000 Apple calls on? No problem. No problem. Market maker will fill you right now. You can go put that on right now, no problem. $1 million worth in 2 seconds. You go right to the book and click the ask. You go right to the level 2, click right on the ask. Boom, boom, boom. Filled me. $1 million, right? No, that didn't just happen. I'm just saying. Individual tickers, no. So that's when we use ETFs, and I'm not saying that we don't. We use ETFs all the time, but just we always choose the individual tickers over those when we can. Unless there's a specific reason. That's again a part of getting, taking everything that's on the table and trying to get better margins. We make trades, we make decisions on the margin. We don't make decisions on averages. Important concept, I think. It's, at least with our type of trading. We're not fucking institutions. We're not trading 5 years into the future. We don't need an average. We need the margin. We need the right fucking now candle. Because every point matters. Right? Every point matters. There's literally no error. You don't have a you don't have a room for error, right? You can't buy something and then lose 20% and then be happy with that. Sometimes it will go up, but then just buy lower, right? Institution doesn't care about that. We do. 20% might be your whole fucking portfolio. Might be your life savings. We get stopped out. We put new trade on. Now that can be a lot. Sometimes that's like, for some of you, that could be like 10 grand. Sometimes I swing 10 grand up and down in a day. That might be, I don't know what, my average spread is probably like, I don't know. Average spread is probably like, with stops coming in, upside, it's probably 10. It's probably 10. It's probably 10. Probably about 10,000. So at any point I look at P&L, could be up 10,000, could be down 10,000. It's not going to go past minus 10 though. I'm going to get stopped out. So it's just the upside. Yeah, the upside's obviously a lot more. Sometimes you sit on, again, nothing sucks more than sitting on a giant unrealized gain. It's always important to be critical of that part. To realize when you're just holding things for no fucking reason and you need to just take profit, take it home, buy something with it, do something with the money you make. Don't put it back into another trade. There's a cap of how much you can trade, right? You all know what your cap is. It's something to always think about. And then understand when you can upgrade that cap, right? Some of you won't be able to trade past 25,000, 50,000 ever. That's just it. Sometimes, like, to get the money working, it's fucking hard. Hard. I traded at 100K for forever. Basically ever. That was it. I just make spreads from there, and that was it. And then I fucking finally was able to do something else, right? You eventually can learn to trade more. It's very difficult. Very difficult. Especially when you have the market go like against you and then you have to get out of positions and then now you're back to being full cash and you're like, how do I get this money into the market right now? Because you feel so tense to go put the money in. Like, I need this money to work for me. And you make bad decisions and oh, I've got plenty of money. I'll just put it on GameStop. Got plenty. What do I care? Put it on GameStop. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, where did all my money go? Oh, I spent it on dumb shit again. Okay. Consistency. That's again a very important concept. If you're consistent with a small amount of money, you keep doing the same thing later on, just with more money. You make the same consistent trades, you just put more behind every trade. That's it. It should never be different. There are people that do the thing where you go from making consistent trades with small trades, or you go from making really big trades with a small portfolio, like you just put everything on one trade. That's bad. If you're consistent with smaller trades, then all you're doing when you have more money is putting more money on those trades. I know it's simple, but that's it. It's the same thing. You don't do anything different. So if you have good discipline now, you'll keep doing the same thing in the future with more money and compound your money faster. $1,000 on a trade compared to $10,000 on a trade that you make 100% on both of those trades, it's so fucking different. It's insane. And that's just in a day. It's just crazy. When you look at those compounding graphs, they are true for that reason. You make the same trade but make tens of $1,000s more on that trade. And it's like, what the fuck was I doing this whole time? Jesus. Some of you going, oh yeah, buddy. Let me just get out of losing my money first. Sure, but hey Don, while you've been talking, the market's crashing. Any words on that, Don? Market's crashing. It's crashing, Don. You said that when the volume went down, it would remove the supply and the price would go up. You're wrong. Listen, Don, you told me to buy down here, and I took down as I should buy up here as well, and now I'm down. Well, that's just unfortunate. Hey, Don, I bought Tesla at 665.5. I'm now down $12. Oof. That's just unfortunate. Unlucky. Unlucky. Value is going to melt up during lunch for sure. I have some bets for that. Value will at least melt. Growth just is all volume. Growth just loves open, loves close. Fucking volatility all over the place. Look at this. This barely moved, right? This travel shit. I think we just need more. We need more data. We need more trades to make some judgments. Mm-hmm. Well, that was very good. I'm trying to think of the best way to So the problem with some of the recent, it's not that I've stopped looking at weekly charts, but there's just been so much volatility. The whole point of a going longer term and looking at a weekly chart is that you're able to make a trade and then push it over a longer period of time without really worrying about so much what goes on intraday and then day to day. But right now, it's so important that we do think about what's been going on, right? Because there's a lot of changes that are happening. So I don't really want to post a weekly chart and then have to remove the idea because things are changing in the market. We've had this whole push to value, and we've had this. Now we're coming back into. We have all this yield and inflation, and those things change the overall dynamic. So maybe by next week, maybe this Friday, I'll start to consider weekly charts a bit more now that we kind of have gotten I would say we've gotten through the worst of it, which is we get confirmation of the value idea through inflation. We saw it in yields, it's done. It's now exists, right? And that's why I'm okay with doing growth trades now, because it fucking is there now. We get confirmation. So maybe now we get back in to some weekly charts because I do like the concept of trading them. It's very nice to be able to just buy 3 month call, like 3 month at the money calls, and then push them for weeks. It feels fucking good. I mean, it does feel very good to be able to do that, and then to trade off of a weekly chart. There's nothing better than just trading on a. When I post a weekly chart, I only trade on it on the weekly. So I'll put it on the weekly, put it on the log, and I'll actually trade it on the weekly levels in the weekly chart. I won't put it on the daily. That's such a stress-free trading. Now, again, when you're a big institution and shit, you're thinking on a long term like that too, right? You don't care about day to day and what happens this week. If you have a whole long term idea, these are long term. This chart here was 22 weeks. We're only. I mean, there's still like 4 weeks to go on this, but that's a long time, right? That's many months. That's since last year, since the election, right? So uh, I think maybe this Friday, I'll look at look at some weekly charts as we get closer and see if we have anything that is breaking out on a weekly sense, and we'll just have some nice sort of. If we can buy everything right now and think that equities are going to go up, then I think we could probably take some longer term trades from a weekly perspective, since that's what institutions are sort of doing in a more fundamental and sort of flow based way they're looking at it. And so maybe we can pinpoint some ideas that we can't see on the daily. That's the important part, is that you don't see it on the daily. Like for instance, this chart right here, you did not see this on the daily because it just looks like dog shit for 2 months, 3 months. And so you don't really see it, but then it's like, oh, okay, well, like, if I zoom out a little bit, I can understand things a little better. I mean, you honestly don't really get hurt on trading on that long term. You just don't get as much exposure in terms of percent gain, like in the short term, which will still always trade like that. But it's nice to have one or two trades like that that are just consistently giving you value. So if you have a lot of cash and it's a hard time to operate, then using those is beneficial, right? I think, yeah, this Friday, I'm going to make a note of it. Make a note of it. We will do some weekly charts. And for when I say we, I mean me, for myself. I'll give them to you guys, but I've been a little busy. I haven't really had time to do some extra things. I'm a little busy. A lot of things I want to do, but don't have time. We always make time for the things we want to do. There's some things I just don't really want to do, so I don't do them. I will do them, but Why can they not get this ship out of the canal? I don't understand. They can't just push this fucking thing? It's still stuck. It's just stuck sideways, blocking the whole damn thing. It's got to be on purpose, right? It's got to be on purpose. There's no way it's not on purpose. It must be from the recent action. It's got to be. There's no way. It's got to be on purpose. They saw the prices were coming down. They're like, fuck. You know what the best way to regulate the price of oil is? To block all distribution of oil. We don't have to limit supply anymore. We can just limit supply by getting the canals, the most important canal in the world for the global oil distribution. The Suez Canal, block it with a ship and act like we can't get it unstuck. Imagine it's 2021 and you can't unstuck a ship. Yeah, it's gonna take us a few days to get another ship down there to unblock it. Not that there's not hundreds of ships every day going through that. There's not how many US fucking carriers do we have over there on the other side in the Mediterranean and on the other side in the Gulf that we can't go push that fucking thing, right? As if I mean the carriers are probably too big for the canal. I mean maybe they can. We have other fucking ships around. Somebody could push the goddamn thing. Blow it up. I don't care. We could do something. It's got to be on purpose. I'm almost convinced. Almost convinced. Getting way too much media coverage, too. Way too much media coverage. It's probably a fucking setup. Goddamn Saudis. Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe there's so many different things they could do, but if you can get the ship there, then you can just. It's so silly to think that you can't push something in the water. You could literally get someone out there swimming. You could get like the strongest guy in Saudi Arabia to go, or in Egypt, that's right next to Egypt. You get the strongest guy in Egypt to go jump in the water with a rope, tie a rope to the ship, and pull the ship by swimming. He could probably do it. As if we can't get another boat out there. You could probably, this, yeah, you could take the shit off the ship. You could, yeah, fucking take something out there and. I wish there was like a video that we could see them try to unstuck it because it says they've tried. Yeah, they even brought excavators out there and they couldn't get it. They tried tugboats, didn't work. And there's just a ton of ships trying to get through to transport. It's on purpose. It's just on purpose. This picture's so funny. Let me show you. It's like the boat is barely in the fucking side of it, and they're like acting. Look at this. The boat is barely into the side of the fucking canal, and they can't unstuck it. It's stuck. They said they brought excavators out. There's one fucking. There's one little truck out there. Oh man, too bad we can't unstuck this damn thing. This is a shame. We got the best guys on the job. The whole global oil trade is stuck for the next 2 days, but we've got the best guys on the job. They're out there trying to get it unstuck. Dig it out of the ground, guys. Good luck. Boss, can we get a better vehicle? Can we get something a little bigger? Maybe digs? Nope, that's all we got. That's literally all we got. That's all we got, Greg. Sorry, you're gonna have to. Here's a shovel, Greg. Here's a shovel. Get out there, Greg. Go get that. You're doing great. Oh, God. Just, yeah. Okay, let's take a break for lunch, folks. But I mean, they're definitely jacking the price of oil up for sure. I mean, it's helping us. If only we knew that this was going to happen, right? Imagine the people that. Okay, we were making preemptive trades. Yeah, we're getting paid. We're not going to act like we made a great trade for guessing that a boat was going to get stuck in the fucking canal. We did not know that was going to happen. It's helping. It's helping with the energy trade, but that's certainly not why the trade is doing well. So, great. We got lucky. Like, it will happen. We could have got unlucky. You could have been, I don't know, you could have still been in a short or something, and then all of a sudden you get fucked, and it's like, well, I guess I suck at trading. Nope, it's just that shit fucking happens, right? Anyway, guys, let's take a break for lunch. Again, it's lunch, lower volume. Don't look too into prices here. Understand that prices are up, equities are up. We're getting good confirmation of the ideas that we've sort of been, you know, trading around, right? Equities risk on. There's some things happening for sure, but it always feels kind of, nerve wracking and a little bit of anxiety out there. Don't let it stop your trade from being. Those of you that bought in at close yesterday, those are nice trades, right? Those are nice trades, and it's not guessing or something like that. There's a lot of reasons you make the trade. Sometimes you don't, it doesn't work, but it's a good capture, and you don't want to get pushed out of that trade. Those of you that didn't buy very good options and are, since due to time you're like getting close to your entry and stuff, I would say just get better fucking contracts, right? Those of you that feel like you're not really in a good spot, if it doesn't feel very good, then get out of that position and get something better, right? Don't cut your legs off, but don't also buy things that are too out there in time. We don't really know what's going to happen out here. So don't make something that you're going to be able to push out there. No, I'm just saying don't buy something that gets hurt on every downside move, which means, don't be buying a weekly that expires this week, but don't be buying June's on an idea that you don't know is going to be pushed out to the summer, right? You have no idea. I don't have any idea. I'm not doing anything like that. But you don't also want to cut your legs off. So give yourself room for this to grow, go to all-time high, and you're going to make multiple trades. It's not like everything's going to stop and then you're done, right? There will be more trades, so let's see what happens here. Maybe by close, we'll break out of this trend one way or the other. So I'll see you in the afternoon. Enjoy your lunch, drink some water, get some exercise, and I will see you then.